This is something that, again, off of our three-step stuff that we do out of multiple personnel groupings here, you'll see it out of 11 personnel, 3x1. And as we get into some of our more full field routes, this is kind of where I get into some of my, how I've kind of changed my thinking on how I train the quarterbacks. In this case, you can see versus the coverage, the middle field's closed. So, the next thing the quarterback's going to do is he's actually going to look over here to this single receiver. And I tell him this: if he feels that corner is soft enough, he's going to throw that out cut. Okay, it's a two-step and roll over out. That's how we run it. He's going to run that out. He's going to throw that out cut every single time until this corner tightens his leverage, tightens his depth, or if they ended up bringing a safety over the top just to play a hard corner. What I love about 3x1 pass game concepts is you can manipulate the backside player, whether they decide to put a player in the alley here with a soft corner, or they put a hard corner and play a too-high defense. I think it really puts the defense in a bind. So in this case, our X out of this, that's the number one receiver. And our quarterback knows right now he's always going to pre-snap to the backside. That's his pre-snap read. If he doesn't like the pre-snap read, he's going to come off of that. And this isn't necessarily drawn exactly to scale, but the one thing that we tell the number 3 receiver, in this case the Y, is he's got to identify the green grass. On the slide you see here, the green grass is going to be somewhere in between the strong safety and the Sam linebacker. And so his release, the Y's release when he's on the line of scrimmage is predicated by that. So he's got to have his eyes up. He's got to be able to see exactly where the green grass is. The second thing is he's also got to then identify, as he gets to his depth of about 5 to 6 yards, he's got to do a really good job of feeling out where the next defender inside is, in this case the Sam. If he feels that defender is on his back, he's going to run away from him. If he feels that defender is more over the top of him, if he takes an exit angle to kind of work over the top, then he's going to kind of sit right here in this hole. And what we're hoping is that this strong safety expands enough, we can throw the ball right in this window and can get a nice, 6 to 8 yard gain. What I like about, running the stick concept is that it's great in any downs. It's a safe throw. You've got, again, it's also good versus man, I think, sometimes because you've got this R receiver running away, and plus you also get a chance to take a shot on the outside with the Z. You'll see it down below here. Verse too high, okay? And again, our conversion for this on the backside when for our X receiver, if he feels soft coverage, he's going to run his out cut. If we identify the pre-snap coverage as middle of the field open, which in this case it is, then our X receiver knows right now our quarterback and X receiver have to be on the same page, and they have to identify it. Sometimes we'll give a hand signal. Sometimes it just comes with repetition. And he knows that's going to be converted into a fade. And the quarterback, the way that I teach our guys is, this is a pretty low percentage throw here in this hole, 18 to 22 yards on the sideline versus a cover 2 safety. So he's got to, if he's going to take this shot, he's also got to recognize the situation in the game. He's got to know down the distance. He's got to understand where the free safety is lined up. If the ball's in the middle of the field and the free safety is on the hash mark, okay, he's got a chance to maybe fit it in that window if the receiver can get an outside release on the corner. If the corner does a good job of not allowing the X receiver to outside release, quarterback knows he's got to come off of that, and he's got to work the backside. Again, working back over here to the stick concept. I'll start from outside in this scenario, but our Z receiver, we tell him you absolutely must release outside versus middle of the field open. He's got to get an outside release. So again, this probably isn't drawn exactly how I would like it, but if he gets an outside release, and even if this corner shuffle, punches, and the corner turns his butt to the sideline to try to funnel him back inside, he's still going to try to fight through that because in that amount of time, the ball's out, and it gives the quarterback a better read. You know, if he takes an inside release, a cover two corner can sit right there, and now one guy can play two. So we really work hard and train our X and Z receivers to the call side is that they have to do a great job of outside releasing. The other thing is if this Sam linebacker were to split the difference between 2 and 3, and a lot of it, again, is predicated on which hash mark the ball's on, if the ball's in the middle field or the right or left hash. Our splits are going to vary. It's also going to depend on how the defense aligns as well. So a lot of times we'll see this where the Sam linebacker splits the difference between our number 2 and number 3 receiver. And so now, again, our number 2 receiver knows he's got to find green grass. He's got to look at the green grass and locate where it is, knowing that he's going to be working off of the next defender down inside. So if the defender, a lot of middle of the field open teams, you know, normally the Mike linebacker is responsible for carrying number 3 vertical. You know, somewhat standard in some middle of the field open coverages. So this Sam linebacker here, who's splitting the difference, the number 3 receiver, whether it's their tight end or inside slot, he knows right now that this Mike linebacker is probably assigned to carry him vertical. So his exit angle may be more over the top, okay? So he knows that he's got to stem more vertical. And then, you know, should the Sam linebacker sit, well, now, you know, the number 3 receiver's done his job, and the ball is going out to the flat right now. This is probably drawn a little bit inaccurate. I'd like that flat route by the number 2 receiver to be no deeper than 3 yards. It's more than 3 yards. Now it puts the outside linebacker, the Sam linebacker, in a position where one guy can defend 2. Keeping in mind that, you know, our whole premise and what the quarterback's taught to do is he's working inside to out on the stick concept. So he's going to work 1 to 2 to 3 in this case. Obviously, he's going to look backside. That's also pre-snap as well. So he's got 2 pre-snap progressions. But he knows the single receiver is off in this case. He doesn't like it. He'll work 1 to 2 to 3. So a lot of time we're in the gun out of this. And so, you know, the kind of mental timer that I want him to have in his head is he's catching the ball. It's catch, balance. His feet are constantly moving. I never want his feet stationary. He catches the ball. He's going to immediately look, you know, inside out. And his feet are going to, and shoulders are going to move according to that.